Hello everybody, and today I'm going to be reviewing movies I watched over the weekend. I had a pretty stressful week last week, but when it came to Friday night, I finally had some downtime to relax and watch some movies. Movies I'll be reviewing today are Silver Linings Playbook, Pleasantville, and The Faculty. Even though all of these films came out years ago, I'm still going to keep this video spoiler free because, well, someone might watch this video who hasn't seen one of these films and actually get interested after my review. So, without any more further ado, let's get into my spoiler-free reviews on all these three movies. So the first movie I watched was on Friday night. It's Silver Linings Playbook, and it came out in 2012. Now, I actually wanted to watch that movie ever since then. It was on my list. I've always wanted to watch it, but it's one of those films, I'm pretty sure you all have that film that you just want to watch, and it just slips away every time. But on Friday night, I finally sat down and watched it. And man, I loved it. The plot follows our main character played by Bradley Cooper, who in the beginning of the film gets out of this mental facility after a certain accident, and he goes to live with his parents again to set his life back, and on the way, he meets this girl who is as odd as him, played by Jennifer Lawrence. Man, I adored this film. It was such a heartfelt story, and I was invested in the story, and I feel like it's all due to the amazing characters played by Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence, who had this very cool chemistry in the movie. Also, Robert De Niro plays father of Bradley Cooper's character. He was also fantastic. And then we have a bunch of secondary characters who add to the dynamic of this film and make it amazing. And there are actually comedic elements in this film, and that worked as well. This was one of those occasions when, while watching the film, I was so invested in the story, and I was rooting for the characters with such passion that by the end of the film, I'm not joking, my palms of my hands were sweaty, I was shaking, I was literally kind of, not screaming, but I was on the verge of I was so nervous, basically, and it was all due to the amazing writing. This movie does make you feel for the characters and root for them. And it was a great experience watching this on Friday night. I'm so glad I did. Overall, Silver Linings Playbook was a fantastic film. I don't have any issues with it. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. It is amazing, heartfelt, brilliant story, and I'll give it a 10 out of 10. The second movie I watched was Pleasantville, and I watched it on Saturday night. Now, it's one of those films that I just picked randomly. I mean, that's just how I pick all of the movies to watch. I just literally okay, I'm just gonna watch this movie, and Pleasantville just came to my mind out of nowhere, and I watched it. So the plot follows our two main characters, Jennifer and David. They are twins, and they're played by Reese Witherspoon and Tobey Maguire. So the character of David is absolutely obsessed with this show called Pleasantville. It's this black and white show, and it is set back in the 50s. And it's the show where life is just so simple, and it's one of those old days where father comes home, dinner is ready, family eats together, kids go to school, everything's just so great, and they have a happy life, a pleasant life. And one night when Jennifer and David, they argue over a TV remote, they accidentally get into the show Pleasantville, and while in the show, they actually start changing things around there a little bit, and that's the plot. This movie felt like a fantasy tale and almost like a fairy tale to me, except not for kids, and I had fun with it. Although this is not the first time when I've seen this concept done, where we have our main character who tries to explain to these people little things and simple things of life that they didn't know about. And personally, what I got out of this film was that we should enjoy little things in life, and we should appreciate that we do have these little things, and that we do have some certain level of freedom to pursue our dreams and what we want to pursue. That's what I personally got out of the film, and I liked it. The main issue I have with this film is with the character of Jennifer, who in the beginning of the film, before they get into the Pleasantville, shares the same amount of screen time with David, and then when they get into the Pleasantville, for the first half of that story arc, she is the main character, and David is the secondary character, and then for the second half of that story arc, she becomes a secondary character, and David becomes the main character, and the problem here is that when she becomes a secondary character, she literally just kind of goes back, and we don't even understand why her character changes so much. She becomes kind of very unnecessary to the plot. I didn't understand why they did that. Her character changed into almost of a different person. I'm not going to get into this too much, obviously not want to spoil anything. And that would be fine, but character of David didn't change. He was as he was in the beginning of the film, but for some reason Jennifer started to transform into a different person out of nowhere. It was like this big shift, which I didn't understand. I also didn't like how they ended her story arc in the end of the film, and that's the only big issue I have with this film. Overall, I did enjoy my time with Pleasantville on Saturday night. It was fun, and I'll give it an 8 out of 10. And lastly, on Sunday night, before saying hello to the horrible Monday, I watched the movie The Faculty that came out in 1998. The plot is about this high school where teachers and students, one by one, start to act very strangely, and our main characters discover this little organism in the premise of the high school, and it's up to them to discover what it is and to save the high school and the entire city. Now, I didn't know anything about the plot of this movie before watching it. I only read the first sentence of the synopsis, and I was assuming it's going to be about these high schoolers trying to solve a mystery in high school, and it's going to be this thriller, horror, and it was a little more than that. I still had fun with it. I picked this movie specifically was because it was raining outside really hard, and I was at home, and I felt cozy, and I wanted to watch a movie like this, like a thriller, horror type thing, and as I said, I did have fun with this movie. When you watch this film, you immediately understand that this came out after the movie Scream, because this movie is definitely meta. There are plenty of references to sci-fi TV shows, movies, and directors, and definitely throughout the entirety of the film, they talk about the invasions of the body snatchers quite a bit, and I guess that's the big inspiration for this film. They talk about, oh, how that movie ended, and that's like the big thing in this movie. Other than invasions of the body snatchers and the Scream, though, the big inspiration for this film was the movie The Thing. There's this one specific scene where our characters in this one room and they all suspect each other because one of them could be infected and could be an alien, and that scene was literally that scene from The Thing, and I really liked it. And there are plenty of other references to The Thing and to that scene specifically, and to other sci-fi movies and shows, and I really like when movies do that. I like when movies reference other movies and are a little meta. This movie was also trashy sometimes, and look, I don't expect a phenomenal CGI out of a movie like this, but sometimes there were moments where I was like, okay, that's just not really great. It's a little too obvious. But there were actually practical effects at some certain moments that I did notice, and those worked. And there's this one specific scene at the end of the film, they use a practical effect obviously there, and it worked really well, and I like that. However, even the scenes with bad CGI worked, I feel like it perfectly fits into this film. Like, it doesn't bother you when you watch a movie, The Faculty. There are also cliched moments in this movie, cliched characters, and the way the characters' arcs ended was also pretty cliched. However, again, it isn't anything that bothered me too much. Like, from a movie like The Faculty, my expectations are at a certain level, and I put it on Sunday night. It was raining, and I did get what I wanted, so I'll give The Faculty 7 out of 10. And that is it for the movies I watched over the weekend. Honestly, it was so nice after a stressful week to relax and sit back and just enjoy my time with movies. Now it's your turn to let me know what movies you watched over the weekend or over the last couple of days, because let's just talk about movies in the comments, because, well, I love movies. That's why I have this channel. And also, by the way, thank you to everyone who leaves comments under my videos. It makes me so happy because it lets me know that a person actually watched my video and had a thought about it, and I replied to almost every comment, and I absolutely enjoy talking about movies in the comments with you guys, so thank you very much, and thank you for watching this video. And if you enjoyed it, you can leave a like, and if you didn't, you can leave a dislike, and if you don't want to miss my other movie and TV show related videos, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you soon. Bye.